Welcome to Jeep Beach News and Views, a podcast about everything Jeep Beach in Daytona Beach, Florida. Here are your hosts, Charlene and Kurt from JBR.
Hey, y'all, and welcome back to Jeep Beach News and Views, all things Jeep Beach. And Kurt, there's so many things going on right now.
So many things.
I'm super excited. Are you excited?
I'm in the room with you. I'm always excited.
Hey. How are you, Rob? Oh, I caught you drinking water.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm
Are
good.
you wetting the whistle because
I'm
you
just-
knew I was going to put you on
That's
the...
it. Yeah.
He was
I'm
hydrated.
doing good.
You doing well?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you know, it is summertime in Florida.
It
and
is.
You better stay hydrated.
Oh my gosh, we definitely hit the dog days of summer, right?
Yes, we have.
Dog days.
80
In
something
June.
degrees.
And June.
Yeah, it's
we're not
crazy.
into July and we've hit the dog days.
It's really hot.
But I will trade off these dog days of summer for our beautiful winters.
Amen. Because in winter, we're not dealing with all the snow like some of our family.
Sorry, people.
People are still dealing with that bad stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Rain and
Oh,
cold.
no. I
Yeah.
haven't been on TV or anything like that, so I
It's
haven't
still
seen a
been.
lot.
I have family up
When
north.
have you been on TV?
Gotcha. Oh, I don't know, Kurt. Anyway, but y'all, I'm excited to talk about a couple of things coming up and some new direction for Jeep Beach, which is really exciting.
It is.
And it involves you, Jeep Beach Nation. So make sure that you are tuned in to not only our podcast, which obviously you're hearing us now from whatever podcast platform you're on, but also you can do it. You can see us and watch YouTube. It's official Jeep Beach.
Jeep Beach official.
Jeep Beach official. I get that, y'all. One of these days I'll get it right.
And if you are watching, if you've seen some past episodes, you've noticed the room was a little bit different.
Yes, and it's echoing, but hopefully they won't hear it. You said so.
I don't think so. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Because next week you said potentially, it's not a given, but very good possibility that next week we are in the new podcast room.
Yes, the new studios.
That's so exciting. Here we go, Jeep Beach Nation, the JBR Tiki Bar, getting an upgrade, which is pretty fun.
And I've seen some of the stuff going in, and
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Well,
I mean, Rob's going with us.
oh my God, you too. I cannot. I cannot.
Who's
Hey,
going to
Rob.
push the buttons for you over here?
She pushes
Let me
my
push my
all the
buttons.
time.
Let me push buttons.
Okay.
I
Yes.
want to push
You want
buttons.
to push
So,
buttons?
Charlene,
I can
okay.
show you how to do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
we're
pushing
good.
his buttons.
Oh, all right.
So let's
All right.
get back to
All right. So why you need to stay tuned in to Jeep Beach News and Views. You need to be listening to JBR. You need to be following all of our social media channels, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, and that's right. Guess what? Guess who's going TikTok? Jeep Beach, I think they have
Yeah?
talked me into a
All
TikTok
right.
channel.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should be.
We
We should be
should
putting
be.
this on there too.
And you know what's going to be on
And
that
we
TikTok
should be
channel?
putting this on there
Yeah.
too. So
'Cause
here
they
we
and
don't-
the
go.
off-road toolbox.
It is.
Yeah.
But I can't wait because
That's
I'm
a lot of work for somebody, and it's not going to be this girl.
They told me when I got on TikTok I was going to have bright white lights.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I'm
Y'all, there is a
stoked.
lot of things to tell you about bright white lights after we tell you why you need to be following all these channels. Because Jeep Beach is back in the community and re-engaging with our charities, not just from a financial donation standpoint, but from activation standpoints. What we have learned over the last couple of years, working with so many different organizations, is maybe they get a grant for a certain project, right? Let's just talk
Correct.
about building a fence. Okay. Maybe there's a grant that a certain organization gets for building a fence,
Correct.
but they don't have the funds or the workforce and the labor to
install
go
the
out and
fence.
install such fence. Enter Jeep Beach Nation.
That's right.
Because you guys, that sweat equity is incredibly valuable to these organizations because they don't have the funding to pay the workforce. So this is the opportunity for Jeep Beach to step up with our volunteer hours, those that are qualified. We're not going to ask you to do something that you can't, you're not qualified to do. But I've helped Kurt install a fence. I know how to run a plumb line. I know how to use a post hole digger and all the things. But it's not just us. It's you guys. It's y'all getting involved. It's you getting out there and seeing why Jeep Beach Nation makes the impact that we do. Because it only takes one person. I don't even have to sign a check anymore, right? Because our donations are typically distributed
Yep.
electronically now, right? For tracking purposes and all the paper trails and all of those things. So, we don't even have to literally handwrite checks anymore. So how do we fuel our Y tank? We go out there and we see what Jeep Beach Nation is doing within our communities. And it might not be just our community here locally in Volusia County. What if some of you, Jeep Beach Nation, out there in Kentucky, Pam from Kentucky, what if some of those organizations need sweat equity? I know you guys, what you're going to do is you're going to rally your troops and you're going to go serve the need that is present in your community. And that's what Jeep Beach locally here in Volusia County and Flagler, because we've got some initiatives up in Flagler County also that need some assistance. So we're going to be reaching out and we're going to be requesting volunteers. And our very first one that needs volunteers and help modifying some like Power Wheels, toy cars, right? We can't call them Power Wheels, I guess, technically in all the advertisements because it didn't come directly. Some of them aren't Power Wheel brand, but that type of car. So the little kids ride on Jeeps, whether it's a Jeep, a truck, a Corvette. I've seen a really cute Escalade out there. There's one little girl in our neighborhood, y'all. And when I tell you my girl's Escalade is pimped out, it is pimped out. It has got bling all over it. It's the cutest thing ever. So anyway, we're going to modify these toy cars for children in our pediatric units or rehabilitation units through Brooks Rehabilitation that may have mobility issues. And so now these cars are going to be adapted to serve their needs. How fun is that?
It's going to be so much fun.
I'm so excited about it. And to get involved, there's so many different areas that they need help in. I don't know if they're still looking for help and actually building and modifying the vehicles. But if there are open slots for that, Kurt, do they have to be a mechanic?
They do not have to be a mechanic. They do not have to have any tools. All they have to have is a good heart, a cheerful attitude, and come and help. And the great part about it, as long as you're 10 or older, you can help.
So it's not just the adults.
Nope.
So if you've got some of our high school students or middle school students now, if they're driving, then obviously they can come and volunteer. But our non-drivers, your kids need community service hours, right? It's part of high school graduation now, especially for our kids have been out of school. What's it called? Something about
volunteer hours for school.
But there's a program for scholarships. What's it called?
I don't know.
Anyway, and it requires a certain number of. I just went completely blank on that, you guys, and I should know this because our boys had to do it. Bright Futures. I knew I could pull it out, you guys. The Bright Futures program.
Yeah.
You have to have a
She
certain
came
number.
through it, as you can tell.
Just needed a minute to get there. Anyway, the Bright Futures program definitely requires certain number of volunteer hours, and these are ways for your students to get involved, to give back, and it's going to be really, really fun. And then they're going to do the road rally, I think they call it, and it's where the limited mobility children are going to get into their vehicles and they get to take their very first lap in their car that they get to take home or to the park or wherever. And I'm just really, really excited about this initiative. And we have an opportunity with that one on next Saturday, which I think is the 28th. Is that right? Somebody have a calendar?
That is right. Yeah.
Ow.
Yes.
That was my arm, you guys. Did y'all hear that? That hurt. It is the 28th.
Yes.
So next Saturday, the 28th is when this is going down. So
8 to 3, correct?
8 to 3. And if you can be there to help, it's as easy as going to our website, jeepbeach.com, clicking on the Go Baby Go and little button that you'll see, little icon you'll see, Go Baby Go, and you can sign up right then and there for a time slot and whatever your job is. I know they need registration. They need all sorts of things. So just go out there and fill your Y tank. And what is your Y tank, Kurt?
My Y tank is, we've been so blessed to be in this community and have been tremendously blessed. Now it's our turn to give it back and help these community partners. And, we've got several others that we'll be talking about here in the next few weeks where it's some big one of them is going to be life changing for 6 people.
Amen. And one of them really is a fence, by the way.
Yeah.
And we're working through the logistics of that right now. So we don't have that out yet for volunteers to sign up. And it'll be, we don't need 50 people out there building a fence, but we'll have a sign up area where you can come out, sign up, and help us erect a fence.
And actually, what we'll most likely do, it'll be online once we know what areas we need, because we have another organization that needs some electrical help, some carpentry help, and then just some back labor.
Sweat equity. And y'all, and think about that. Think about what the workforce is right now, right? I mean, for every hour of manual labor, there's a wage to it, right? I mean, whether you're paid 15 an hour or 50 an hour, right? There is a wage attached to that manual labor, and it adds up quickly. Trust us, we know.
Yeah.
With the things that we do personally, when we're Jeep beaching, we don't have time to do home projects, so we pay for home projects. And oh my gosh, it's expensive anymore, because it is the cost of living and just everything. So, our time and our talents and our gifts are just as valuable to the charities that we support as those checks. Because like I said, sometimes they get funding for very specific projects, but then can't follow through because they don't have
the manpower
to do it. So enter Jeep Beach Nation, because we have a vast variety of skill sets and talents and gifts. And so we're going to be reaching out to you, Jeep Beach Nation. And no, you don't have to be a participant. No, you don't have to be a Jeeper. It can be anybody in our community that is connected with Jeep Beach that can come out and help us do these projects.
Well, we get people to ask us all the time, how can we help?
Yep.
I don't have a Jeep, it's not my thing or whatever, but we want to help and we want to do it. Well, this is your chance.
This is your chance.
And it's not all manual labor. It's, helping get some material there, or, writing down what's been done, taking measurements. So there's a lot that people in our community can do.
Running plumb lines. I'm excited. On the fence, I get to be the plumb line.
Now, here's a question that right off the bat is, how can they get involved? What do they need to do?
Listen, pay attention to our podcast.
Okay.
Pay attention to our social media. Keep going back to our website, and I'm going to say our app, because I think they might be able to put the button on the app too, but don't hold me to that, you guys. I'm saying IT things that I don't know.
Yeah. And also, if you have a skill set and you want to volunteer that skill set,
email volunteers at Jeep Beach.
Volunteers at Jeep Beach.
Volunteers at jeepbeach.com.
And then, then myself or Jeff will be getting back in touch with you and figuring out your skill set and where we can use it. Because like I said, there are
so many
big
projects
things coming on here by the end of July that we're going to need, that this one organization is going to need some help on. And when I tell you it is a life-changing
y'all, it's going to be so
event,
cool to watch this happen.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be so cool to watch this happen and unfold. And that is the type of thing that fuels my Y tank, right? I love putting this event on. Jeep Beach Nation, you fuel my Y tank, because we love welcoming you into Daytona Beach. But really, I'm here working for community, right? My goal, my mission is the impact that we're making within our own community. And the bigger Jeep Beach gets, the harder it is for us to engage in the community. And I don't ever want to lose sight of that. And I don't want our volunteers in Jeep Beach Nation to lose sight of our why. And so it's time to do a little Y tank fueling. So I'm excited about that. So just keep paying attention to everything. And you'll be hearing about several different initiatives and platforms through JBR, the podcast, Jeep Beach News and Views. Maybe Jeep Beach Off-Road Toolbox. I'll pick some of these up also and talk a little bit about them and tell you how to get signed up. So those are our podcasts and the radio shows, of course, and the radio station, because we'll be running promos for these things.
Yep, just keep tuned.
And then all the social media, website, and all the things, because y'all, you don't want to miss your why. Now, before we go this week, we have a funny story to tell you.
Okay. All right. Who is it about? Oh, hang on. Before we get into that, because I know that maybe this is all involved. How was your trip?
That's the funny story. We went.
You went wine tripping?
We went to Jeeps in the Vine. And
Kurt does not. He's got such a scowl on his face right now.
we had fun.
Oh, no,
we had
you
fun.
had a
We
good
have
time?
No, we had a
stories
good
to
time.
tell. We have stories to tell.
Well, do you want to say some of the stories for the radio show?
Well, they can do this and that.
Okay.
Dahlonega, Georgia. Now, just the name Dahlonega presented and posed itself an issue for the group that went. Dahlonega, Dahlonega. We had all kinds of pronunciations. All of my new Jamley and Dahlonega, Georgia, I now know how to say the name of your town.
is true.
And we love Dahlonega, Georgia. So this is where we went to Kaya Vineyards up in the foothills of Georgia. Again, where is it, Kurt? Make Kurt say it.
Dahlonega.
See, he can even say it, y'all. Dahlonega, Georgia. Go look them up. Amazing. Tom and his team are unbelievable people. And the wine, holy moly, this man is starting to enjoy wine. Not just tolerating it,
Wow.
but actually
you
enjoying
were never,
it.
You're never a wine guy.
I was
Ever.
not. But
Never. 30 years.
I will not mention any names, but I did find out that there is no difference between an expensive wine and a cheap wine.
On some of the brands.
On some of the brands, because I had some very inexpensive wine that was delicious, and then I had some very expensive wine that I would not drink again.
So there you go.
So I'm
It's
learning.
it's not the price of the bottle, it's the quality of the wine.
Correct.
And I am
Your
happy
palate will develop.
Yes.
And I did find out that it takes a 5-gallon bucket of grapes to make one bottle of wine.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, Tom and team at Kaya Vineyards, great event this past Saturday in Dahlonega, Georgia at Jeeps in the Vine, and they had a trail. And let me tell you about the trail. We're going to tell on ourselves here. This is a fun story to tell, and I'm not embarrassed to tell it.
It is a fun story.
And it's hilarious. And then it turned into a cool story. And I see Happy Hefe is in here. Although y'all haven't heard from him, he's in here. And he and Bart are going to like this story. So it rained every night. Daytime was gorgeous. But coming over the mountain nightly, rain showers, right?
Every night.
So very wet.
Big rain showers, not just like sprinkle.
No, like monsoons, like
Yeah.
big rain. Rob, have you been to the foothills of North Georgia?
No, I have not.
Okay, so let me tell you what the soil is like in the mountains and
Clay is not. Is
red
it right?
clay.
Red clay, yeah.
It is not soil. It is red clay.
Red clay.
Do you know what happens to red clay when it's wet?
Slippery. Very slick.
Like a sheet of ice.
Or as my Aunt Lil used to say, slicker than owl poop.
Yep.
And so we all get on this one trail. Lead Jeep goes up and he's like, oh, he's on the radio with us. And he says, oh, you're going to have to really give it some to get up and over because it's slick. I'm sliding everywhere. Okay. So we all engage our lockers, front and rear lockers. We're good. We're going to get some traction. We're going to pull this bad boy up this slick mountainside. Next Jeep gets real squirrely. We're the third Jeep in line, and by the time we hit this spot, it is literally...
It's a sheet of ice. I mean,
Now, y'all,
literally.
again, the front and rear, and we weren't stuck by any means. Kurt's trying to get down, and he's trying to get some grass and some grit underneath it where we can get some traction.
Because the rock they were going over after the first two.
Well, it wasn't mud. It was what we came to find out was it was a rock that we were trying to get up and over.
That was a nothing on it rock when the first two went.
Covered now.
By the time we got to where we were, where they spun going up the hill, just covered the rock.
With red clay, slick red clay. And Kurt goes, okay, we're going to get this. We're going to get this. Well, after about, I don't know, 8 to 10 attempts of trying to get up this very slick rock and me not happy about it because every time we hit it, we just start, and guess what side we're sliding
Did you guys get
to?
video of this at all? No?
No, we're trying to navigate this daggone rock. So anyway, we're sliding, and guess whose side we're sliding to? Yours truly. And I'm like, I am not sliding off of this mountain my side first. So
She
you just
wasn't
need
going to
to
slide off the mountain.
and we weren't, but I didn't know what was on the other side because it was a lot of debris and brush. So anyway, so we finally just said, you know what? We need one little snatch.
Yep.
Get us one little snatch and over that rock. And literally, when I tell you, it was a quarter of a turn of our tire that grabbed. And once we got the top of the rock, then we had what we needed. We had the traction to get up and over it. So anyway, and now then they were trying not to run over the snatch rope, of course, and hit that, because now you've got a lot of slack in it, because now we're pulling again. But anyway, that was fun. But by the time we got to the top of the mountain, what happened, Kurt?
Well, they have an
And this
extreme
wasn't to
hill.
us. This wasn't to us.
This happens an extreme hill, and as we were at the bottom, this guy was going up it. Well, he got about halfway up it, and once again,
He hit slick.
he hit slick. It bounced and turned sideways, and the front right tire was off the ground.
I mean,
With-
off the ground.
With 3 people in the Jeep.
And thank God he didn't keep goosing it,
So
gunning
he-
it,
so
hot dogging
he-
it, whatever you want to call.
He is 90 degrees the wrong way on the hill. Right dead in center.
With a slope of, what did y'all say, probably 12
10
to
to 12%. So it was
So it was a pretty
it
good
was a good
gradient.
slope. So we have the trail lead there. He pulls his Jeep down there, runs his
He had to
winch.
come in the backside and up to the top with us, because now we're up at the top. So he had to come in the backside. I'm trying to give everybody a picture.
You gave him one.
Okay, go.
So he has to go halfway down, extend his winch as far as he can, hook to the Jeep. Then me and Mike had to anchor his Jeep at the top of the hill, and
To
then
our Jeeps.
literally pull.
So our winches are all the way deployed.
Yeah, we've got them stretched as,
So you got to use your gear.
we got to use our
I
gear.
was on
How
the
about
break.
that?
I
How
want
about that,
everybody
Jeff,
to
huh?
know that I
Charlene.
partook in this rescue mission
Yep.
by staying and wasting away, and I stayed on the brake.
You
They
did
were
stay
like,
on
"Do
the
not
brake."
take your foot off the brake."
Now, at the end of all this, did you have a good time?
Oh, we had a fabulous
ball.
time.
It
We
was
had
fun, right?
so much fun.
And
We had so
Charlene,
much fun.
How dirty was your Jeep?
Okay, so for everybody that thinks we don't wheel, and we tell you guys this all the time, we don't post it because we don't have to. I don't need you guys knowing what my business is on my time. Y'all get to know my business all the
Yeah,
time.
but when
during
you're
the day.
wheeling, you want to kind of show
No,
off.
I
Why not?
don't.
Sure.
No, I don't.
At
I
least
just
show
want
the
to
after,
go play and enjoy.
the before and after.
So we went and we played and we enjoyed and we had the most fun. But I did tell Kurt we hit a few muddy creeks because, again, the rain. And I looked at Kurt afterwards and I said that was fun and we had a great time. I said, but I will be admitting that I like the clean creeks better than the muddy creeks. Because when we go up to the North Carolina mountains to my family's land, we get to ride through really pretty creeks and stuff. And it doesn't get your Jeep nearly as red clay mud. So huge shout out to EMS Detailing for
Yep.
coming to the rescue on Monday when we returned back to Daytona Beach and getting all that beautiful red Georgia clay off of my white paint.
Yeah. We still got to get off from underneath. but
We do have to get
we're
out from
getting there.
underneath and all that.
But a beautiful place. We're going to go back again
Cannot
next year.
wait. Cannot wait.
Put it on your calendar. Jeeps in the Vine.
And some exciting things on their end that we're going to be partnering with them
Yep.
on. And Tom and I are going to jump on a virtual call and continue planning some really cool things with Kaya Vineyards and the team there. But
It's going to be awesome.
huge kudos and lots of fun. So for those of you that don't think Charlene and Kurt take Wasting Away off-road, there's your this past weekend Wasting Away off-road adventure.
But you didn't break anything either.
Oh no.
Good. That was
Like I
successful.
said, yeah, we weren't stuck. We were never
Right.
stuck. We were never in trouble. It's just I got tired of sliding, and I was like, for God's sakes, just let them put the
Well, and
rope
the
to
bad
us
part
and get
about
us
it,
on
once
top of
we
this
got
rock.
over it, they shut that trail down.
They did.
Because nobody could
You couldn't get up
You
it.
just
It
couldn't
was
get
just
up
too
it.
slick. But once you put so much red clay on those slick rocks, it's
like going up ice.
Yeah.
If I
it
had
is.
oil dry, we'd have fixed it. Spread that out over, all been good.
We just needed one little tiny bit of grip. So
Yeah.
anyway, it was fun.
It was.
There's the story. So there's your story time on Jeep Beach News and Views.
All right.
Okay.
All right, you guys, we'll see you next week, but stay tuned, pay attention, and get out there and volunteer whatever community you're in, wherever you're at, go make a difference.
There you go.
Bye, y'all.
That's a wrap on Jeep Beach News and Views. Be sure to subscribe for future automatic downloads to your favorite podcast player app. Got a comment? Or would you like to be featured on Jeep Beach News and Views? Email us at radio@jeepbeach.com. That's radio@jeepbeach.com. Until next time, keep all four on the ground and your tops down.